Hi, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to Our Two Cents. I'm your host, Clinton Smith. I'm the CEO of GCS, formerly known as Government and Civil Employee Services. Today, I am with our financial advisor, our president, Galen Vargerstock. Galen, how was your day?
Doing great. How are you today?
You know, I have absolutely no complaints. Honestly, things are great in our lives right now, guys. We have some exciting news. I don't know if, this is our first time actually releasing this. This is the first time we've been back to record some new episodes in a couple months. And on an exciting note, guys, we have an awesome new office for GCES. Our home is moved. Tell everybody, what do you think about the new office, the new digs?
Well, the office is great. I mean, it is plenty of space for us to grow into. It's definitely something that's a little larger than what we need, but we want to grow into it, so it's fantastic. It's perfect for us.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, I think one of the things that people think is that we are some huge company with hundreds of employees, but Galen and I started GCS on our own 15 years ago now, so we actually just also celebrated GCS's 15th birthday.
We did, yeah. And I think that it was, good to say that it was done in the kitchen, and my mother bought us the computer, to actually start the company. So it was crazy, from little beginning and where we're at now.
And I think, I am so grateful for all of the opportunities that we've had thrown our way throughout the time in the insurance and finance industry. I came from restaurants. I was the GM of a restaurant that I won't say their name, and they laid me off after 2 years. And Galen basically said, "Hey, do you want to come do this with me?" And you had just started out. I mean, you were doing it for by yourself for maybe 6 months?
6 months or a year, something like that. But I mean, in general, I was in kind of the industry as a marketer for insurance for a couple years before we actually went into the sales side of it. So it's kind of interesting. I have the knowledge of what goes on in the business, but we never actually did it and established a company until you came in.
Yeah, and that was 15 years ago that we started this company. I want to thank, and I'm grateful for all of our employees that have helped us get this far. Galen is great, I'm great, but we have a great team of girls that work at our office, and they have done a great job of really having our back. So here's a shout out to Shauna, Tina, and Nancy, who are all back at the office right now, taking care of it while we're out here recording. I am grateful for them.
I am grateful for them. I'm also grateful for anybody that's ever worked for us, Maybe it didn't work out and paths crossed a separate way. Yeah. But, it was a great experience.
Yeah. But that really brings us to the whole point of our episode today. Being grateful. Yeah. Being grateful is shown that it helps out people with living better lives. It helps out with health. It helps out with, physical issues. But to you, what does gratitude mean to you? What do you think it means to be grateful?
I think to be me personally, to be grateful is, one of the biggest things that I have done in my life is just to be thankful for what I have. I came from very small beginnings. My parents, weren't wealthy. I had to work for everything that I did. So I'm very grateful for everything that's happened to me along my life. And I know I've said it before, I'm grateful for all of the negative things that have happened to me as well, because those negative things have set me on a path to make myself better, and to be a better person. So gratitude is pretty much everything to me.
Yeah. And guys, it's no surprise if you've watched our show. A lot of people watch our shows, and, we're here to talk about finance and insurance, and that's what we do. And we're great at that. Obviously, we know how to do that. We have a TV show already where we talk about that. We didn't get to here by not being good at finance and insurance. But me and Galen personally, on our own journey through life, we've gone through a lot of different things. We started out really, I would say, by watching The Secret.
Yeah.
Right. Which if you have Netflix, I think it's on Netflix. It's called The Secret. It is going to take you back to the 90s. It is definitely something that they need to redo. Yeah. But that started us out on this whole self-awareness, self-help journey, which I think a lot of people are also going through right now. I think, consciousness and taking care of yourself mentally is a huge hot topic right now for a lot of people.
It is. I mean, the biggest saying to ever live, is to know yourself, So I think that people are just coming onto an understanding that, with social media playing the way that it is right now, everybody has opinions and everybody sees everybody's opinions. So it's kind of like to the point where everybody's like, hey, I understand that you feel the way you feel, but I can feel the way that I feel. And the gratitude, once you understand that everybody is different, you're just grateful to have existence, I think.
Yeah. One of the things that I've been concentrating on, and I know that we've heard this in our travels to Rhythmia and everything in the last 6 months, but not just being grateful for things, because you can do exercises, in relationships. They recommend that you say every day 5 or 10 things that you're grateful for about your partner to help increase the strength of your relationship. But also too, gratitude has a lot to do with, I think, how you think inside of your head. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to wait in line, or because traffic sucks on the way to work. Those are ungrateful things that you're unhappy. And me personally, I hate waiting in line, right? Like amusement parks, love amusement parks if there's no one there. Or if they have like that fast pass thing that you pay like 3 times the amount to bypass everyone and go straight to the front.
Yeah, you're definitely instant gratification type of person.
Yeah.
I just feel like I've been waiting forever, so now I'm just like, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. And I've been working on becoming more zen with that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I've actually, since we went to Rhythmia and in the last 6 months, have gotten a lot more comfortable with being in the moment and happy with where I'm at. Yeah. I hate waiting in line. I hate waiting for things, but I've learned that is exactly where I'm supposed to be at that moment.
Exactly. Like you don't know what could have happened if you weren't expected to wait. Like you have a new car and the car, just randomly shut off on us whenever we were making a turn probably about 2 weeks ago. We don't know why that happened. Maybe there was an accident that was preventing us. Something could have been worse for us. Because it literally just shut off and it's a brand new car. So.
Okay, so also too, this car has had its moments, okay? So like, I don't know, maybe a month and a half ago, we were driving to the gym in the morning and I'm rushing. We pulled out onto the highway and I zoom across a big Mack truck because they were taking forever to get off the ramp. And as I zoom past them, a rock falls off of them and hits my windshield, right? And you know me, normally I would have been so mad about it because it's a brand new car and now it's ruined forever for me.
Yeah, the windshield, I know, you took it well.
So I tried, I literally told myself in my head, okay, something good is gonna come from this, right? A week later, I'm pulling out of the garage, and as I pull out of the garage, I hit our contractor's truck and scrape up the whole back right of my car. And I tell myself again, something good is going to come from this.
I have a feeling I know where you're going with this. And this is kind of like what you're talking about is more of manifestation and buying something. But
I was grateful for all of these opportunities as they came before me. And then the car broke down and I was like, okay, well, obviously the world is trying to tell me something. I need to order a new car. So guys, I'll have a new car in December. I'm really excited about it. But it all came from me being grateful for a rock hitting my windshield, we'll say.
Yeah, I guess you can use gratitude for anything. That does work.
Yeah. So guys, we're going to continue talking about gratitude. We'll be back in just a moment. But in the meantime, if you want to have an appointment with Galen or one of our financial advisors, just give a call to the number on the screen, 888-391-3465, and we will be back in just a minute. To me, a successful retirement isn't measured by money or amount of dollars that people have. We measure it more on happiness.
If you haven't started your retirement journey, it's good to actually just take the first step. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to commit to anything if you don't want to, but just taking the first step of reaching out and finding out what you have and then going from there. You have to know what you have to know where you're going.
Start it sooner rather than later is probably the biggest thing that I would say to people. A lot of people want to wait until they're right at the edge of retirement, and there's not a lot that we can do for a client whenever you want to retire in 30 days. 5 to 10 years before retirement is a lot better. We can do a lot more for people.
The best advice that I can always give somebody is just take the first step and, reach out and ask questions. You're not going to know what to do or what to expect until you ask the questions, and it's non-judgment at our office, so ask away. When people hear financial planning, they think retirement, but what about protecting your family? Rolling over an old 401k? Turning savings into an income?
At GCES, we take a full picture approach to your future. It's not just about retiring, it's about thriving.
That's why we focus on more than just money. Our approach is built on health, wealth, and happiness because financial security should improve your life, not just your bank account.
No matter where you are in life, planning today makes all the difference for tomorrow. Welcome back, everyone, to Our 2 Cents. I'm your host, Clinton Smith. I'm here with our president and financial advisor at GCS, Galen Bargerstock. Galen, I'd ask you how you're doing today, but I know that you are living your best life, being grateful.
Yeah, I am.
So let's talk about that. I know that being grateful is, there are so many people in this world. Some of us are at a different place. Do you know what I mean? And even talking about mindset, the different states of consciousness that, at the very bottom, the lowest vibration would be people that are victims, right?
Victim mentality.
Above that are people that are manifesting, channeling, and then Buddhas above that. But not everyone is at that place in their life. So if you're sitting right now thinking, wow, I wonder how I can change and be better mentally and more well prepared and happier in my life, this is what we're talking about this for today, is being grateful. Mm-hmm. This is the number one way to improve your life, by being grateful for what you already have.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's share, why don't you share a story? What is your story that you would relate to when you realized that being grateful was something important in your life?
Oh, geez. So the military, taught me a lot. The military taught me probably more than college could have ever taught me, because it was kind of real world experience with bullets going off around you, So I would say that the biggest thing of gratitude was probably being in Iraq. Not just seeing how good we have it as Americans, but in seeing the children, wanted us to be there. The soldiers wanted us to liberate them, wanted us to help. They wanted candy, of course, they wanted candy. But, that I was grateful because I understood how good we had it. But pretty much probably when it really hit home was when I got blown up by a bomb. I don't remember a whole lot. I just remember, warm, loud, bang, boom. And then laying there, thinking I was dead. Everything was black and just getting slapped by, my sergeant. So, I kind of am very grateful, that I'm alive. So that was probably the biggest life-changing event that I ever personally had, because I thought I was dead.
Yeah.
So once you feel like you're dead, you have a lot to be grateful for. There's a whole life out there.
So for those of you that don't know, I know Galen just talked about a lot there. When Galen, how old were you?
I would have probably been 21 or 22, right in there.
And you joined the military right after 9/11 happened.
I did join the military right after 9/11. I was graduating a couple weeks before in New York City. I was there for the World Trade Center. Kind of all led up into, doing what I did next, the military.
But definitely, guys, we definitely recommend being grateful and being grateful into your life. On Galen's note, it took a near-death experience for him to understand the importance of gratefulness. But I'm sure a lot of you at home watching this right now are also grateful for the things that you have in your life. Find us on Facebook. We want to hear from you guys. Share with us the things that you are grateful about. We're definitely going to post this on Facebook. If you're watching online or on our YouTube channel, give us a comment and let us know what you think about whenever you're thinking about things that make you grateful.
Yeah.
So how does this all relate to finance and retirement, though? Because everyone knows we're not here. This isn't a self-help show. Technically, we talk about finance and retirement, but it all relates back to our pillars of GCS, which is health, wealth, and happiness.
Yeah.
So how does being grateful affect someone's retirement?
Well, it affects everything. Being gratitude in life in general is going to get you where you need to be. So being grateful for what you have, you won't feel as much of a lack like you don't have enough. I don't have enough saved retirement. You'll switch mindsets to, holy crap, I have $20,000. I'm so happy that's $20,000 more than I had. Or even if your return, in a negative market one year, you still made $2,000. Be grateful that you made that $2,000. So it's really your approach and your mindset on how you're approaching it. Plus the mental aspect of it. A lot of times people are working to work, and towards the end, from the conversations that I have with everybody, people get checked out. They're not really into the position anymore. And, a little bit of gratitude, if you're showing a little bit more gratitude, your superiors might show more gratitude back towards you. So there's a whole kind of chain of events that could happen working and retiring.
It's funny. We work primarily, or we started working primarily with postal employees. And I want to say that I've actually seen a shift in the way that they talk about what they do. When we started this out, 10 years ago, they were, I remember, super unhappy about mail counts. We actually knew when mail counts were happening because they were so unhappy about doing the mail counts. Fast forward to a couple years later, I bring up Amazon Prime and the Amazon deliveries to one of the delivery people, one of the carriers from the post office. And their complete mindset had shifted from what it used to be, that they didn't want the extra work, that they didn't want to do it. But then Amazon Prime, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, I accidentally ordered that and you had to deliver it on a Sunday. I didn't know that was going to happen. Yeah. But they were happy to have the work, and they were happy to have that at the post office to give them more hours. So that was a complete shift in mindset that ultimately could also change their retirement, because now they're happier to go to work, they're going to be more motivated. And it just end up being a snowball effect of changing their lives.
It's a whole big thing, because if you're happy at your position, like say the post office, you might be off of the overtime list and you might want to come back on the overtime list, which is going to feed more money into your 401ks, TSP in that case. But the happier you are and the more grateful you are about the whole situation is just going to have this snowball effect. And the post office has definitely changed. COVID changed, the world for almost everybody out there, but they were working during it. And, a lot of the things the postal employees are upset about is that they are working. Going postal has always been, a phrase since I was growing up. And, from seeing how they're treated to how people that don't have any money and aren't working in the country, it's kind of like, oh, we're out here doing our jobs, we're mandatorily working, but everybody else gets money for free. It's kind of like it's a big,
Yeah, yeah. One of the other things that we talked about is, personally, on our own finances, us personally, we have found being grateful to be helpful for us to do better. Do you know what I mean? There are, as anyone knows, in businesses and in life, there are always going to be setbacks. No matter what you do, there are going to be things that set you back in life, and you can't control that. You can't change it. What you can do is control how it reacts, how it makes you react, and how it makes you feel, and really being cognizant of that and bringing it always back to being grateful for everything that you have, grateful for the people in your life that are there for you, grateful for your dogs, grateful for your house, grateful for your car, grateful for everything, grateful for sugar-free cakes,
I was grateful for a substitute teacher in the 7th grade one time when I was going through a list of things to be grateful for, because I just wanted to be grateful about everything, and I was thinking of everything, and I'm like, wow, she did a really good job.
Yeah. So we're going to be back in just a moment, everyone. In the meantime, we do give financial reviews. We can sit down with you and your spouse and help you and your spouse and help you understand all of the things that you get for retirement. All you have to do is call and schedule an appointment. We do appointments in home. We do them in our office, which is headquartered in Indiana, Pennsylvania. And we also do them online on Zoom. All you have to do is call 888-391-3465, and we can set you up with an appointment. You can finish it before we come back from this break. We'll see you in a moment.
It's definitely a welcoming office. You're not going to walk into a very stuffy environment. We like to have fun, because if you're not having fun with what you're doing, what's it all about?
The biggest thing that we look for is someone that doesn't have a lot of experience in the financial industry, to be honest. We want to have people that don't have bad habits already work for us. And we really look for people that we want to be around because it sounds kind of cliche, but our office and our employees are like our family, and we take really good care of our family. Tina, that does our business processing, we met her at a local car dealership where we would get our car serviced. And then we were looking for someone, and she applied for the job, and she was a perfect fit. And that's one of the things that I mean, like not having someone from the financial world can end up being a good thing because they're going to learn everything and do the things the way you want to do them for your clients, not bringing in their own way to do things. We want to have people working for us that are in it for the clients, not for themselves.
Retirement planning can feel overwhelming. We make it simple because you deserve a future you can feel confident about.
Since 2010, we've helped thousands of federal employees, teachers, and healthcare workers and professionals in every field navigate their TSPs, their 401ks, their pension, as well as take care of long-term planning.
A secure retirement isn't just about savings. It's about having a strategy that protects your health, builds your wealth, and supports your happiness.
We want to build that plan together with you. There's no stress, no sales gimmicks, just a team that cares. Welcome back, everyone, to Our 2 Cents. I'm your host, Clinton Smith. I'm here with our president and financial advisor, Galen Bargerstock. I don't know why I stumbled on that saying, I've said it like 1,000 times to introduce you.
My name?
Yeah. Okay, so guys, today we're talking all about gratefulness, being grateful. This is our episode all about being grateful because we personally think that being grateful is something that is going to help improve everyone's lives. It'll help improve the lives of those around you, and it'll help improve your finances. It'll help improve your health. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of things that it's going to go towards improving. So one of the things that I know that we've talked about in the last couple months, and one of the things that I've been super aware of is how I talk to myself in my head. You know, everyone has that, you know, thought in their head or their feelings in their head about themselves. A lot of people come with self-doubt. I personally have a lot of times where I have overwhelming fear of everyone thinks I'm an idiot, right? So I know that is like, that's, you know, bold to say here in front of everyone, but that is like my biggest thing is that I have these fears of, you know, oh, I said something stupid, and I'll replay conversations over and over again in my head and worry about what I said and what other people think about me. And when I'm doing that, I'm having negative self-thought, negative stuff going through my head. And I always have to remind myself to bring it back to being grateful for all of the things that I have in my life.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying when I'm sitting down with a client and talking at a household level about what's going on in their life, I can tell when somebody has a mindset of money avoidance. You know, the conversations that we have, just little nuances that I'll pick up on as we're talking, I understand what you're going through already based on what you're saying. Like, if you're going in depth of how expensive something was, you're kind of insecure about it. It's like, have you ever heard, I know you can relate to this, if somebody has to tell you they're a big deal, they're probably not a big deal, right?
Yeah. So being grateful, there are so many things, benefits to being grateful. And, you know, this is from Google, I'm not going to hide it. Neurological effects. You know, being grateful activates the brain's reward system, and it strengthens connections between the prefrontal cortex and the limbic system, which helps monitor your emotions and decision making. So just on a neurological level, if you are more grateful for the things in your life, you're going to be making more sound decisions about your finances. You're going to be more resilient to market fluctuations because you're able to handle that mentally better than you would have if you were not grateful for the things that you have.
Yeah, you're going to be more prepared to go through all of these storms that are going to happen throughout your life because the storms are going to keep on coming. You know, that's how we grow as individuals. But, you know, I think that it's very important to, you know, pull the reins back and just think about everything at a slow pace.
Yeah.
You know, take your time.
A long time ago in restaurants, I had a regional manager, Mark Hines, I think was his name. But he came in, you know, restaurants is a high stress situation, especially in a fine dining, high volume restaurant. You know, it is a high stress situation. You're dealing with guests, you're dealing with servers, you're dealing with the front of the house, the back of the house. There's a lot of different things to juggle at the same time, which can be overwhelming for a manager. Mm-hmm. And I remember whenever I was in the very beginning of learning how to be a restaurant manager that they told us, and this is from him, and I remember this exact quote. Do you actually know what I'm going to say?
No.
It starts with excellent.
No.
Oh, you don't know it. Okay, I've brought this up like so many times. He never listens. It's all right.
I've heard the story, I'm sure. I just don't know.
So if you're having a bad day, you're having a bad time, someone is yelling at you, you just got yelled at for cutting somebody off accidentally, is to repeat and say in your head, excellent, wonderful, marvelous, fabulous. Do you remember this now?
I do get it now.
Yeah.
I remember.
So a great exercise in your head if you're having a bad day is to close your eyes and just say it over and over again. Excellent, wonderful, marvelous, fabulous. Excellent, wonderful, marvelous, fabulous. And repeating those in your head is kind of tricking yourself into releasing dopamine and thinking that everything is excellent, wonderful, marvelous, and fabulous. But it's a great way to bring your mindset back around to being happy and grateful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I have little tiny tricks because like anybody, everybody hits that wall and the negative thoughts are going to come in. You can't stop it. So switch the gear, switch thinking, think about it. But, I just learned from, somebody from the Rhythmia team and on an app that I do, a class, tilt your head backwards, smile, and just think of something you're grateful for. And when you have your head up to the sky, you're naturally going to feel different. And you talked about the science of gratitude and stuff, but it's really the feeling that you have. Good feelings feel good, bad feelings feel bad. It's as simple as that. And if you're grateful, you're going to have more of those good feelings. Those good feelings just switch into the good and get rid of the bad.
So very quickly, just give me 5 things that you're grateful for off the top of your head.
Oh, I am very thankful for you. I am thankful for the life that I lead, the money that I have, the people that are surrounding me, and all of the help I have had along my way to get me to where I am today.
That was good. So guys, for our last couple seconds here in the show, we're going to do an exercise with you that you two can do starting right now. We're going to do it all together. We're just going to practice being grateful for 30 seconds. This is an exercise that you can do by yourself at home. There is no right or wrong way to do this other than thinking in your head things that are grateful, but I'm going to lead you through it. So guys, let's go ahead and close our eyes and tilt your head up just like Galen just told us. We have our eyes closed and we're just going to say to ourselves, I am grateful for all of the things in my life. I'm grateful for all of the opportunities that are presented to me. I'm grateful for all of the happiness that I give to others that they give back to me. I'm grateful for everything I have in my life. I'm grateful for the fact that there's an 800 number on the screen right now that I can call to get a financial advisor to come out and help me. And guys, just remember that note. We're going to go ahead and end the show. You can be grateful for everything you have in your life, guys. Remember that. Give us a call if you need any help. We'll see you next week.